Okay, good morning. Just wanted to, we'll show you something really quick and then talk about a topic. So, I just cleaned my sleeping quarters. Let's see if I can show, this will get a good picture here. Open that all the way up. Alright. So when you have more gallons, you have a lot of, like the biofilm coming off your skin. So all that like yellow stuff and anything that I show on the slides, that's like the stuff that flakes off. It comes off constantly and right after the shower, so it's like this plasticky, and then it turns yellow, like real fine sawdusty kind of stuff. But anyway, you have that all over, and the Morgellons die off like blue fuzz and live Morgellons. So I cleaned my whole I took everything out of my room just like they do it on TV shows and clean the whole room and bring it all back in. And I simplified it so it's a lot easier to clean. I suggest that for people who have more gallons, like if you have a lot of knick-knacky stuff, like I cleared all the like small little things, and there's about half of it up here now, so oops, I'm not showing it. Oop, there we go. So we have like, a lot of the same stuff I had in here. I just took everything into the bath and sprayed it off, washed it off. I have like crystals and my little, let's see if we can, there we go. My little perfumes and lotions and whatever, just my little, because I had it all in the bathroom. Oops. And then I never use it because it's in my bathroom separated, like the bathtub shower is by itself in one and then the toilet and sink is in the other. So yeah, so anyway, I put all that on my dresser, and this is like the little corner. Wow, I'm trying to get the camera. Okay. Put some little purple lights from the Dollar Tree in there. That's where I had my little Buddha. I'm going to put him out on the front porch with. I'm going to put Padmasambhava out there, and I have a little fountain kit, little bamboo fountain kit. So creating little sanctuaries. I might put that in the bathroom since I take so many baths, and there's my bed. There's my little note card. Something I'm going to talk about right now. But yeah, so nice light colored sheets. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to work here. I'm showing you my unmade bed, but it's just lighter, brighter. I had this little thing I got from the thrift store, which is like a duvet cover for a down comforter, but so I just, nice thick double layered, so it's nice for a bedspread. And it has here, let me put it down, see if I can show the top here. It's got like butterflies, and it's hard because everything's in reverse, so I'm like struggling with doing this. Okay, there we go. And butterflies and dragonflies represent, spiritual knowledge and transformation. So you're not going to be able to see me with the light off. Well, you don't need to see me. I'll point it actually at the little owl and see if I can pick that up. Maybe not. It might be too dark. I have a little light changing candle, electric candle inside this owl lamp that instead of putting the electrical cord in there, I put that in there. So let me turn this off. So this oppositional conditioning is something that we do no matter what, even if it's like a good situation, like say there's a positive YouTube video and everyone on there is like positive, and there might be a person that gets on there and they're like, oh, this needs some opposition in here, you know. It's like this, you know, we've been brainwashed through everything, sports, everything, to be competitive and to either be for or against something. And, you know, we have the right to choose neutrality. We don't have to push or pull any certain energy or attach ourselves to any, you know, mental or emotional or even physical response to anything. We can just be. And that's what, you know, my at my root, at my core, I'm agnostic. So, you know, even though, you know, I'm one with Source, God, Creator. Thank you, darkness, for pushing me, ushering me back to the light. Thank you for doing your job. The light and the dark, thank you both for helping me to do that. But, you know, that's our journey, is journeying back to the light. But my foundation, my agnostic foundation, always says, you know, I don't have to align myself with anything, and I don't have to reject anything, because, excuse me, because it, and I hear this so much when people talk, you know, they speak so matter-of-factual about spiritual stuff. Even, you know, we think of science as like fact, and most of science is theory, so we don't really know anything. And that's why most of, you know, I don't really have a belief system. I have, you know, I'm agnostic, truly. You know, at my root, I'm agnostic. I don't know anything. None of us do. Even if it's written in the Bible, even if we think, you know, we definitely know certain things because we've experienced it. But how do we know we have an accurate, you know, perspective? You know, there's so many things to take into account that, and now with like the veils of the different dimensions being dissolved, and once where there were once walls, there are windows now. And they're, you know, these dimensions are separated, but we can see clearly into every room. It's like all these offices that were all aligned next to each other, and now they have clear walls. So, excuse me. So, you know, and it starts to almost become like a nitpicking thing, because you have to start nitpicking in order to maintain that oppositionally conditioned standpoint. You have to have something that goes against what's occurring right now, what's being said right now, what's being done right now. So, and then there's the label of like rebel and going against the grain and rocking the boat, being someone who's challenging. I've been called that, you know, but you get to a point where you don't have to fight against anything. You don't have to stand up for yourself. You don't have to, because you don't have to engage in it, period. You don't have to push or pull those energies. Just let them be, and you can just be. So much unnecessary drama and arguing and all kinds of stuff stem from, you know, and you'll meet people in life who, and even when I wasn't awakened, you know, I wasn't one to argue. I'll just let someone be right, even if they're wrong. And, but if I was ever wrong, like, I'm so OCD about being accurate. Like, if I found out I was inaccurate about something, I'd like be like, okay, make sure to tell so and so about the whatever, you know. So it just depends on your personality too. But we we need to realize we need to be more objective when we're observing ourselves. And we need to observe ourselves. We need to observe our thoughts, what we're thinking. We need to observe our actions. What are we doing? Are they aligning with our thoughts, with our feelings? And are those thoughts and feelings aligned with our true, authentic self? So that's why it's so important to do all this healing, the purging, all this stuff, because, you know, even the obsessing, we got to go through the obsessive phase. You know, it's like, we can tell people all we want, like, you'll get through it, we can be encouraging, or we can, whatever, however we respond, but we don't need to respond at all, because it's just all part of the, especially with the twin flame journey, you know, you have to go through that phase where you're, you know, checking your Facebook 6 times a day and obsessive, you know, or whether it's with watching readings or, you know, whatever the obsession is, obsessive thinking, you obsess with something, the way you're feeling about something, thinking about something, or what you're doing is obsessive behavior. But it, you know, it's all one. But when it's all out of balance, it sure doesn't feel like that. And oppositional conditioning is something that takes us out of balance. So, because now we're weighing more heavily on one side of something, and we need to get to the mentality of the oneness. And, you know, we view animals as so different from ourselves. We view, you know, it's like we're the air, we're the water, we're the everything. Everything's one, let alone, you know, all our relations, how the natives say it, all our relations, everything. You know, starts with the people, then the animals, and all the habitat, Mother Earth, everything on the great Mother Earth. So we need to look at things the way God looks at things. The Great Spirit sees everything as one. And because God is truth. And what is truth? Truth is love. And what is love? Love is unity, honesty, oneness. And the ultimate truth is oneness. That's what you arrive at. On the spiritual path, you arrive at the oneness, and how it's possible to just be, and that's okay. Not be, fill in the blank. No, just be, period. Big dot, period. Okay, just be. So, you've seen if there's any, because I was trying to think back to when, the oppositional stuff started, because, you know, the ancients, I just realized, under my dresser there's all these little Morgelli webs. I gotta go in there, and because I can't have my head down here so you can next to the computer, because this owl's under my dresser. But yeah, I just noticed that. Anyway, good, I'm glad I did it like this. I wouldn't have seen that. One last spot. Oh, you missed a spot. Of course, always. Trying not to miss a spot with this. So, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So, thinking back to, you know, and just the way it is right now too. See, when we think of like God's chosen people, or this 144,000, all these different things. I was trying to see what like the common thread was, like, how did God's how do God's children live? And, well, peacefully and harmoniously. And that starts from within, of course, first. Because you're the pebble, and then you create the ripples and it extends outward. You radiate it. So, but, being tribal was this main element of, like, because tribes are like little clans. Okay, so, like Mongolia and all that, the hordes, the tribes, and they're all over still right now to this day. Africa is very much tribal in a lot of areas still. There's this opposition to that, though, and that's where I think all this oppositional conditioning started. It stemmed from... Sorry if the light goes off of my computer. Oh. You didn't pause, did you? No, okay. You might not be able to see the owl. Can you see the owl? Okay, a little bit. So, with the tribal people, there was always... They always wanted to, push them off their land, or where... I mean, they never really claimed any land. They were nomadic. They, would travel around, and as the weather changed, and followed the herds, the hordes, the herds, whatever, the horsemen. And they were like... And hordes, like a hoarder, because they were like pack. They had pack mules, pack animals, whatever, depending on where in the world they were. If they were like nomadic, they would do that. But I guess some people could, a lot of tribes did settle in certain areas, but and kind of not claim land, but they just kind of had an understanding, like, you don't bother me, I don't bother you. I mean, actually, gangs, if you think about it, gangs are probably the most... Because even the tribal people, like the natives, like Native Americans, a lot of things have fallen away, and but they're coming back, and there was a reemergence, I think, maybe in the... I think they were saying, like, in the 50s, with the tribes, like the Klickitat, Tlingit, like the more, like, Seattle, like in Washington, the more northern... See, and those are more like the Eskimos, you want to call Eskimos, they're Inuit, Aleut, Naskapi. I think there's some other ones. Those are the three main ones I remember. But they're like Mongolian, and they have one called Qatar, and it's like the Khazar. Okay, the Khazar. Those were like over in that area, Kurdistan, and the Mongolian hordes. Okay, and they all settled in like Canada and like Alaska and stuff like that, North America. It's not really connected to the United States, but we own it, so whatever. Politics, all that non-God stuff, but so there was this growth, this emergence of the empire, okay, and it goes all the way back to ancient day. There were tribal people, and there were like empirical people, and the empirical people, they wanted to build big things, and they wanted to have jewels and empires. They had huge food supplies. That's one thing I learned in college level U.S. history, and I had a really good professor, really organized, good, did well. Did not so well after he
for whatever reason, didn't finish the class, and another teacher came in the second semester, part of part two, and so I got like a B or whatever on that. But it's, you know, because he just wasn't as organized. I love things being organized, and I don't want to get off on a tangent on that, but a really good organized teacher, good structured, you know what to write down, you know what to be taking notes on. He'll even tell you, hey, we're going to be tested on this is important, you need to be writing it down. Like those kind of teachers, like the, you know, I don't like teachers that just sit around and bullshit and they're unorganized and they don't know anything about the subject in which they're teaching. So anyway, because I'm clairsentient, if I don't feel like passion, igniting passion in others, you know. So this rise of the empire, and the Egyptians were like that, the Romans, you know, nowadays, like almost, there's an empire in every corner of the globe. And it's like, you don't get triggered, flat earthers or hollow whatever, I don't know, I don't care. See, it doesn't matter. There's no push or pull from me, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt or enhance my life. But if people want to debate stuff, and that's cool to get all into that. I trip out more on like quantum stuff and string theory and things that don't really have like a debate essence to it, you know, like a dualistic, you know, it's just this oppositional conditioning, and we kind of search out this stuff. If we don't have an outlet for it in our lives, we have to like compete in some kind of way. And you'll even catch yourself or other people saying weird things that are coming from that energy, and you're just like, huh? I'm like, why are you like comparing your boob size or what, you know, just like stupid shit, what, you know. So yeah, the empire, you know, and that's why we've had so much genocide on certain people, you know, the blacks, the Jews, all the tribal people they have had mass genocide since the beginning of time. The empire has tried to kill off the tribe, the clan. That's why I call it clan. I just thought of my name, Gretchen. Chan is also clan. Chan, clan. Gret. I think that means great. Gret. Great clan. Great. The great tribe. It's like the great spirit, right? It's the tribe of God. That's my tribe. And, so tribes are, so you're thinking, okay, so why are they against the tribes? And what? Because they're not hurting anybody. What are they doing? They don't want to take their riches. They don't want to. They're simple people. So what's the, you know, if they want to take over an empire or a certain region, they'll just move up to the mountains. They'll just move away. You know, they're not a. So what's the deal? Because what happens is, they're empowered individuals, and they'll infect the thinking process of the people that they're trying to control so that they can build their empire, because they need slaves. You need people who are going to work. You can't build it yourself. You just have the idea that I want to take over the world. I want to control. Build. Yes, big, giant, huge, yes. It might stem from a good, like, core God place, but it's something that veers way off out in the wrong direction, and it's all based on ego. But it might stem from that same motivation, that same God drive, you know, that drives people to go seek truth. And, you know, it's the same urge that makes people want to build an empire. You know, just go off just slightly in the wrong direction, just like math and geometry. I mean, you end up way out in left field. So, and yeah, so the tribes know how sovereign they are. Not only they can't control them, but they also pose a risk to their whole plan, foiling their whole plan, because if these other people like that way of living. The empirical life, living as an empirical being, is not gonna appeal to them. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to. If there's more, I might make a part 2 and then rename this part 1, and then maybe make it like a little mini series or something. But I think I pretty much covered it, because I wanted to think about, and just so look, I encourage people to look for. I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do, so I always try to say I encourage you to look for that in your life. Look at the oppositional conditioning. Even when people are like, you're just having a simple lunch on your lunch break or something, like whatever, and you hear people, and it's not just kids, adults, everyone, they're like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. We're so like conditioned to know what we don't like, but okay, well, forget about that, because how's that helping you? Tell me what you do like. Instead of telling me 9 things you don't like, tell me the one thing out of the 10 that you do like. So, when we observe ourselves objectively, we see a lot of things that we do and think and feel that don't make sense. Things only make sense when they when they're relevant to the now. If they're not relevant to the now, it doesn't make any sense. Because at this point, whatever the past, future, that's a parallel dimension. It may be occurring right now, currently, but right now, you're in this now. You're in this. Whatever this is where you are. So just be there. Be that thing that you are in that now. And let it be aligned with truth. So I love you all. Blessings to you all. And peace be upon you all. Now I gotta find my little mouse. It gets lost on the screen here. Where'd you go? There we are. Alright, you guys. Until next time, just breathe and just be.